So when we talk about self-realization, immediately we might wonder, okay, what do you mean by self? And this is the question, isn't it? I mean, philosophers throughout the ages, East and West, have asked this question. Know thyself, Socrates said. The Advaitic philosophers of India, the sages, asked this question, who am I? And this is an incredibly important question, and I want to take a look at it today. And before we dive into the question, I want to say one thing about the answer. And that is, there's a line in the Rig Veda. The first mandala, it says, Richo Akshare, which means the Richas, the hymns of the Veda, are in consciousness. Akshare means pure consciousness. So, and Veda means knowledge. So knowledge is structured in consciousness. And why that's important is because the answer to the question, who am I, is going to depend on your state of consciousness. It's going to be one answer in one state of consciousness. It's going to be a completely different answer in another state of consciousness. So we have to keep that in mind. But in this little video, what I want to do is take a look at the answer in ignorance, self-realization, unity consciousness, Brahman consciousness. In each one of these states, the answer to who am I is completely different. Okay, so first off, in ordinary state of consciousness, it is tempting to answer this question by thinking in terms of our experiences. Like defining who I am in terms of our experience, my experience. So I am, let's say, an artist. I am a writer. I am a teacher. I am married. I am single. I am intelligent. I am artistic. I have these qualities, this qualities. I like to do this and that. I like to ski. I like to scuba dive. All these different activities and these experiences is how we define who I am. And of course, you probably already realize that that doesn't really define who you are. You are someone behind all those experiences, right? So you're more than those experiences. You're an experiencer of those experiences. So then we have to start to dig into that. So who am I in this moment? And so for that, it's a kind of transcendental phenomenology, you might say, which deals with your experience. Like I'm thinking, for instance, Descartes. I think, therefore I am. He was looking at his experience. He wasn't trying to answer who am I, but just whether or not he even exists. And in looking at that, he looked at his experience and he said, yes, I'm having thoughts, so I must exist. So it's that kind of focus that we need to take. Now let's use that focus on our immediate experience right now. Who am I? So I'm sitting here, I'm talking, I'm experiencing thoughts that I'm expressing. I'm experiencing the room. I'm perceiving. But I am underneath those thoughts, those perceptions. If I'm having feelings, I'm not the feelings either. I'm beneath those. I'm internal to that. So dig into that internal. Try to discover what's behind your thoughts. What's behind your perceptions within you. And if you keep digging into this, what you will find is emptiness. There is a space within you, a silence of just awareness. That's it. I am silent awareness. And all my experiences I enjoy by virtue of that silent awareness. And if you start to dig into that silent awareness, you find it's completely abstract. When I say it's empty, it is empty and it's abstracted. It doesn't have any boundaries. It's actually unbounded. And in that sense, it's not material. Like anything in the realm of matter has a boundary to it. It has a definition. But awareness is completely undefined, completely unbounded. So it's not in the realm of matter. It is pure spirit. So who am I? I am pure awareness. I am pure spirit. I am non-material. I am unbounded, infinite. And because I'm unbounded and completely immaterial, completely spiritual, I must be immortal. So this is the higher self. This is the innermost self with a capital S. So that is the answer. If you're really astute, even in the state of ignorance, if you really dig into it, who am I? That is the answer you can give in ignorance. But as you meditate over the years, it becomes very clear to you that I am that pure awareness. You don't have to dig into it with your intellect. It is obvious because that pure awareness, you've experienced it so much and you're so intimately familiar with it through years and years of practice and meditation. There's no question. I am that pure awareness. I am infinite, unbounded, pure spirit. So that is the answer that you can very easily give in the state of self-realization. But that's not the end. So if you continue your practice, you may have heard of unity consciousness, a unitive experience where that pure consciousness that you have realized within yourself. And of course, this is also called the state of no self because, as I said, you realize the innermost aspect of who you are is undefined. So it's as if there is no defined self. It's, as one teacher said, as if your head is cut off. You are completely unbounded. Okay, so that unboundedness within, you can start to find that same unboundedness outside of you. Just as it underlies the thoughts within you and the feelings, it underlies all the forms in the environment. It permeates and underlies all those forms. So then, when you get to that unity state of consciousness, the question, who am I? You would answer, I am this unboundedness, and I'm also that unboundedness. As I look at this object, I am that unboundedness. This, I am that unboundedness. I am that unboundedness. I see the self everywhere. So that is the answer in unity consciousness. Purnamada Purnamidam. This inner fullness is full, that outer fullness is full. Okay? But notice there's a distinction between inner and outer, as if a distinction. It's the same, and yet it's inner and outer. So there's a distinction there. So the next state, as you completely relax into that unity over a certain amount of time, you relax into that, and that distinction between inner and outer dissolves. So there is simply one uniform, homogeneous wholeness of awareness that encompasses everything. The totality of life. It encompasses and permeates everything. And that I am. Inner and outer no longer have any distinction between the two. It is simply one wholeness of awareness that's all-encompassing. And that I am. I am that. Brahman. That is Brahman consciousness. So then that becomes the answer to the question, who am I?